I am having experience with smoking DMT and psychedelics, and I just want to know my thoughts. I'm taking my time to get this experience because it's all about just take your time, isn't it?
Most drugs are meant for medical use. You must decide use or abuse.
I remember things very vividly from a very young age. When I was a little kid, I actually spent a lot of time with my grandparents. My grandfather was a nuclear physicist. I remember he was telling me about black holes, and that terrified me.
I was like, that's just mind-boggling. It's a monster, right?
But at the same time, it fascinated me. And I said to myself, how do we know that? This unthinkably massive thing. I realized that nature doesn't keep secrets. It's only a matter of, do we understand? What tools can we use to expand our knowledge? And for me, dimethyltryptamine, also known as DMT, was the tool that led me to the discovery.
When I first saw the phenomenon, it was like, holy shit!
But then it was actually like, whoa, what is happening?
Am I losing my mind? But then I showed other people, and things kept getting weirder.
Just for the record, I haven't told him anything. Okay, just tell me what you see.
Oh my god, come on.
Wow, what the fuck? Holy shit. I just saw something. Yeah. What the fuck?
Oh, I see that. I feel it.
I've been under the influence of mind-altering substances a lot, but I've never seen anything like that. Whoa.
I showed over 100 people, and I kept asking myself, how are all of us seeing the same thing?
Oh my god. It's changing shapes right there.
The laser was revealing numbers and letters running in a pattern.
They're almost like this big here, and it looks like code.
It looked like programming code.
It's definitely saying something, and I just want to take a picture of it and translate it. Wow. You see that?
Okay, so yeah, it's not stuck.
No.
It's not because of the light.
No, it's on its own side. Light is just literally revealing it.
And each angle shows you different layers, different ways through it.
I can see through the wall. It's not like a hallucination. It has spatial awareness and permanence.
I don't know. Whoa.
Just seeing the structures and seeing the digits is total. When you still see the structures, it's possible to imagine that these structures are due to the influence of DMT in your brain while you're looking at a stochastic pattern. But when you see the digits, this hypothesis becomes much less tenable. You will notice some motion. Stay with that motion. The digits are usually much smaller than people expect. So keep looking until you see actual digits running. Numerals and what seems like Japanese katakana characters.
Okie dokie, today's 3rd July 2025, and this is my voice memo about what it feels like to be kinda dying after taking DMT.
The experience of smoking DMT is unlike anything else it's a wild. Me tingling with awareness of every detail as I explore this. Under the enigma that is the human experience, the visual cortex becomes my canvas.
So what exactly are dimethyltryptamine's effects on consciousness?
It begins very quickly. You begin to feel different within a heartbeat or two after the completion of the injection. There's a feeling of acceleration and inner psychic tension that begins and builds quite rapidly, almost overwhelmingly. The visual image of the room, if you had your eyes open, would start to break up in a pixelation kind of pattern. If your eyes were closed at that stage, it's a display of kaleidoscopic images. Also, during that time is a high-pitched kind of sound. Usually high-pitched. It could be oscillating wah kind of sound. Might be some crinkling kinds of sounds, but it's increasing in intensity. So it's crescendoing, which kind of parallels the anxiety or the feeling of stimulation. And then you just break out of your body. It's as if the internal pressure just can't be held in the body anymore, and your consciousness just breaks loose. And that's kind of the plateau between 2 minutes and 7 minutes or so. And then you start coming down, and things slowly recongeal.
The rapidity, intensity, and conventional insanity of the experience has caused word to reach the public through the internet, as well as authors and researchers writing and speaking on the matter. Another hot topic is that DMT is an endogenous compound, meaning it's produced naturally in the human body, and yet no definitive explanation for this has been discovered.
There's a huge amount of it in the lungs. That's where most of it is, but it's throughout all the tissues in the body. No one knows what it's doing in the lungs.
Interesting work is being done right now on the endogenous functions. There's a very interesting book just published called Questions for the Lion Tamer. It's about endogenous DMT, and it's relating that to all of these other rather interesting, what you might call physiological states, which have to do with gamma wave activation in the brain, and which DMT can reliably do this.
The gamma brainwave state is associated with high-level cognitive function and peak concentration, as seen in studies with meditating monks and nuns. Gamma waves originate in the thalamus and move back and forth through the 3 lobes of the brain about 40 times per second. Therefore, it is credited with integrative processing, the flow state that athletes and musicians experience, and improves memory, mood, and seems to optimize many natural functions of the brain. Dimethyltryptamine is one of the most powerful psychedelic compounds known to man, and it's created right here in the human body. Author Dr. Rick Strassman wrote a book, DMT, the Spirit Molecule, explaining all the incredible experiences. Another author, John A. Chavez, wrote a book called Questions for the Lion Tamer. He uses a lot of evidence and a lot of science to support some pretty wild speculations. He even calls the chapter Wild Speculations, because he wants to show that evidence can be there to support that we know very little about human consciousness. And he starts speculating that DMT might be very integral to telepathy, clairvoyance, heart coherence, channeling, aha moments, miraculous healings, and even other paranormal phenomena. What is this state that DMT seems to put us in? What is the state that these brain crystals, these magnetite crystals, help us enter into? What is that flow state? What is coherence? What is the shamanic and the psychedelic state? What if they are all talking about exactly the same thing? What if we are the limitless pill that we need to swallow? And that limitless pill will open itself up and turn into exactly what we need in the moment if we enter into the right state of consciousness.
we must wage what I have called total war against public enemy number one.
Drugs are menacing our society. They're threatening our values and undercutting our institutions.
There's a great need for treatments. The current medications only work partially.
The powers that be have held that they're still illegal.
The government does not allow this research to take place, and then they say, well, there's no research that shows it. It's beyond hypocrisy.
It's not that they don't want you to be on drugs. They want you to be on drugs. They just want you to be on corporate drugs.
This morning, the Drug Enforcement Administration is announcing its intention to place the drug MDMA under emergency controls in Schedule 1.
The need is growing for psychedelic medicines.
The only way you're really going to understand it is to do clinical research.
We fund studies on harm, we don't fund studies on benefit. It gives a distorted picture.
So then they find out drugs that are prohibited actually work much better than the pharmaceutical drugs.
I was diagnosed to have terminal cancer. It has allowed me to open up and have communication with my family that I have never been able to have before.
But because of government regulations, we're denying major aspects of our population access to medicines that they dearly need.
In a society hypnotized by scientific study with the use of external technologies, exploration into the mysteries of the universe using self-observation is seen as inaccurate and flimsy. Answers to our most timely questions, such as who am I, why am I here, and what am I to do, are given only the most conservative answers like we don't know, or that gene hasn't been found yet. Speculation is frowned upon. But psychedelic states or natural highs seem to push the mind into greater curiosity, expanded receptivity, inner contemplation, and wild speculation.
I've just smoked it, and honestly, everything's gone really fast. My hands are wide, trembling, and I can see and feel it all. It's like I hear a gentle hum or birdsong, strange but kind of beautiful. I know how it's going to end, what it's going to look like. It's a weird feeling, but in a good way, because I'm realizing I probably won't actually die from this. But here's the weird part, my hands keep crumbling like they're dissolving into grains of sand. I can see it happening, my body turning into particles, especially my hands, they're just disappearing. I feel it too, like I'm crumbling from the inside. The visual cortex, the part of the brain that processes what I see, is so fascinating right now. It's like my eyes have limits, but what I see is enough to blow my mind. And then my brain, what the hell does it do to me? Why am I seeing these visions? Why does it let me see them when I've taken DMT but not when I haven't? DMT or dimethyltryptamine is a powerful psychedelic that our brains produce naturally. It's often linked to near-death experiences where people see lights or tunnels and feel like they're dying or leaving their bodies. Some scientists like Dr. Rick Strassman think DMT might be responsible for these visions, acting as a doorway to other realms. So I keep thinking, am I really seeing what it's like to die, or just a hallucination? There's evidence that when DMT is released naturally, say during trauma or near death, it might help the brain process death. A 2019 study in Frontiers in Psychology suggests DMT could be a biological mechanism for consciousness at life's edge, giving us a peek of what's beyond. What's wild is that DMT disrupts the brain's default mode network, the bit that keeps us feeling like ourselves. When that's shut down, perception rules fall apart. That's probably why I see these visions of crumbling bodies or tunnels. My brain's filters are off. It's not just me being weird. Science backs this up. Either way, these visions are rooted in real neurochemical processes. Whether produced naturally or taken externally, DMT acts like a key that unlocks hidden parts of the brain. It's like a window into something beyond, or just a way the brain processes death. Pretty mind-blowing to think our brains might be wired to give us a sneak peek of what's on the other side. Anyway, my hands are still crumbling, but I'm just watching. It's strange, but oddly calming. Thanks for listening.
York City for Burning Man 1 week out of every year, not to strengthen their routines and habits, but to dismantle them and see beyond the veil of their own making. In a society touted as being almost completely consumer-driven, people are left to use plants, vacations, retreats, natural and unfortunately not so natural substances to shield their eyes and ears from the onslaught of products and sales gimmicks. The Kogi people of Colombia spend 9 years of their formative life in darkness in order to connect with what they call cosmic consciousness. Egyptians had the pyramids, Romans used the catacombs, and even the Essenes in Israel are reported to use extended periods of darkness. All of this to remove the shackles of limited thinking and liberate oneself from the wheel of suffering. John Chavez, author of Questions for the Lion Tamer, has pushed the speculative envelope regarding the role of endogenous DMT in telepathy, lucid dreaming, and the overall questions of how much of our biology we can actually control through thoughts and actions. Extended fasting leading to years of inertia or living without food, breath practice leading to world records of 22 minutes without oxygen, breaking the 4-minute mile when doctors said it was impossible, surviving incurable diseases, unbelievable feats of strength and willpower. All because the human spirit seems to seek beyond conventions and restrictions, and mostly with purpose. To know thyself. Not just in theory, but embodied. The psychonauts that long to witness as much as they can on this beautiful planet in these amazingly mysterious bodies do so because the greatest mystery of all is right around the corner, and this life might be their only chance. What truly lies on the other shore when this body dies is a mystery, but glimpses into that world have been coming to light in the form of near-death experiences, and the experience is far closer to a psychedelic journey than one may think.
The experience of smoking DMT is unlike anything else. It's a wild ride that accelerates every sensation, leaving me tingling with awareness of every detail. As I explore this journey, I find myself transfixed by my hands. They appear to swell and tremble almost like they are vibrating with energy. In this moment, it feels as if I'm enveloped in sound, not merely the soothing hum of nature, but a symphony of colors and vibrancy that echoes with every pulse of my being. This sensation turns curious. My hands appear to be dissolving before my very eyes, crumbling like dry sand surrendering to the wind. The realization is delicate yet exhilarating. I might not be facing death after all, but rather an extraordinary exploration of existence. Each part of me seems to fragment into pixelated specks, defying the solidity I take for granted. This visual disintegration captivates my sense of wonder as I ponder the enigma that is the human experience. The visual cortex becomes my canvas. Limitation morphs into freedom as I delve deeper into this state of consciousness. It leads me to question my own perceptions. Why does this psychedelic awaken visions usually dormant within me? I reflect on my perception of reality, wondering if DMT acts as a key, unlocking an ancient door into realms of mortality and beyond. It hints at near-death encounters in realms unseen, inviting me to confront the inevitable end of existence itself. The oscillating thoughts whirl about in my mind. Is my brain divulging secrets about life and death? Am I being shown the inevitability of crumbling that we all face? Questions flood my consciousness like a tidal wave, each one more perplexing than the last, yet drawing me toward understanding. When not under the influence, I marvel at my unseen world. I'm left contemplating what draws me to this experience, what DMT reveals, and why it feels like peering into the abyss. As I come down from the euphoria, I catch sight of my hands once more. They remain delicately intact, though tinged with the bittersweet knowledge of their fragility. Against all odds, they live, yet reflect a profound truth about existence, that the essence of life is transient. In this dance with consciousness, I realize I carry the echoes of death within me, a reminder that life in all its complexity is simultaneously vibrant and fleeting. Through the crumbling there exists life, a strange and beautiful contradiction.
The experience of smoking DMT is unlike anything else. It's a wild ride that accelerates every sensation, leaving me tingling with awareness of every detail. As I explore this journey, I find myself transfixed by my hands. They appear to swell and tremble almost like they are vibrating with energy. In this moment, it feels as if I'm enveloped in sound, not merely the soothing hum of nature, but a symphony of colors and vibrancy that echoes with every pulse of my being. This sensation turns curious. My hands appear to be dissolving before my very eyes, crumbling like dry sand surrendering to the wind. The realization is delicate yet exhilarating. I might not be facing death after all, but rather an extraordinary exploration of existence. Each part of me seems to fragment into pixelated specks, defying the solidity I take for granted. This visual disintegration captivates my sense of wonder as I ponder the enigma that is the human experience. The visual cortex becomes my canvas. Limitation morphs into freedom as I delve deeper into this state of consciousness. It leads me to question my own perceptions. Why does this psychedelic awaken visions usually dormant within me? I reflect on my perception of reality, wondering if DMT acts as a key, unlocking an ancient door into realms of mortality and beyond. It hints at near-death encounters in realms unseen, inviting me to confront the inevitable end of existence itself. The oscillating thoughts whirl about in my mind. Is my brain divulging secrets about life and death? Am I being shown the inevitability of crumbling that we all face? Questions flood my consciousness like a tidal wave, each one more perplexing than the last, yet drawing me toward understanding. When not under the influence, I marvel at my unseen world. I'm left contemplating what draws me to this experience, what DMT reveals, and why it feels like peering into the abyss. As I come down from the euphoria, I catch sight of my hands once more. They remain delicately intact, though tinged with the bittersweet knowledge of their fragility. Against all odds, they live yet reflect a profound truth about existence, that the essence of life is transient. In this dance with consciousness, I realize I carry the echoes of death within me, a reminder that life in all its complexity is simultaneously vibrant and fleeting. Through the crumbling there exists life, a strange and beautiful contradiction.
Our society is absolutely designed to shut down 90% of the potential of the human creature. Why should it be the case that society is afraid of realizing human potential? And what it comes down to is special interests. That there are those who run things in society, and that there are those who are there to kind of serve them and serve their ends and serve their needs. And so what our society has created is a realm of unquestioning meat robots who will perform their daily tasks without complaining and without causing any trouble. And that may be very useful to certain small interest groups, but it's extremely damaging to the rest of humanity. Once we realize our potential, we don't need elites anymore. Who needs elites? Who needs to be led? This is another revelation that comes from working with psychedelics, is we do not need leaders. They are not over us, telling us what to do. They may imagine that that's what they're doing, but they have no right to do that. And the moment we begin to wake up and start asking really profound questions about the nature of reality and about the society we live in, their power is instantly diminished. And I think that's why we've seen such vigor and real nasty unpleasantness put into this horrible, wicked thing called the war on drugs, which has been used as an excuse to enter the inner sanctum of people's lives. See, if I'm not sovereign over my own consciousness, if I can't make free choices about my own consciousness, if I can't make those free choices while doing no harm to others, then I am not free in any useful or meaningful sense. And the moment that I free myself, then I become a danger to those who run things in the world. Anybody who has been led to question the nature of things profoundly as a result of psychedelics is a danger to the status quo. We risk being thrown in prison, we risk having our reputations destroyed. If the powers that be enter our home and find that we're using psychedelics, I mean, this is really an Orwellian world that we've created. How dare some guy in a suit sitting in government tell me what to do with my consciousness, while at the same time they're allowing, the glorification and glamorization of alcohol, which is one of the most dangerous drugs on the planet. Alcohol is a seriously dangerous drug, whether you're talking about cirrhosis of the liver, or whether you're talking about traffic accidents, or whether you're talking about violence. Alcohol, there's no doubt about it. Nobody can dispute it. It's an extremely dangerous drug. So a society that says alcohol's okay, and you can even advertise it, but psilocybin or DMT are not okay, and if you use them, you'll be sent to prison. That society is just riddled through and through with unbelievable hypocrisy. And we have to bring that out. We have to show people this is the case, because what's going on here is a fundamental abuse of human rights. We must be free to make decisions over our own consciousness, always with the proviso that we do no harm to others. And any government, any state agency that attempts to limit our freedom over our own consciousness is itself an agency of darkness and control. I think one of the wonders of these medicines, of DMT, is that they reconnect us to spirit. And if there is anything that is desperately needed in modern industrial technological society, it is a reconnection to spirit. That's what's missing. That absence of spirit is why there is so much pain in the world today, and why people are willing to inflict so much suffering on one another. Once we reconnect with spirit, we realize that we are an intrinsic part of the human family. What the psychedelics are showing us is that we are all members of one family of consciousness, and that they strip away all the trivial shit like the color of our skin, or the country in which we are born, or the legal system under which we grew up. They strip that away and they bare the soul. Because, my God, it is a mystery to be alive at all, to have experiences, to have our senses, to fall in love, to be engaged in the world. All of that, if you think about it, I mean, where did we come from? We're born in these bodies, we grow up in a family, we go out there in the world, we take it all for granted, but it's a giant mystery from beginning to end. These psychedelics are agents of liberation. I'm not saying they're all perfect and wonderful and good things, but are they agents of liberation that lead us to ask questions that we would never have asked before? Yes, absolutely. And do they lead us to want to be better human beings? Yes, absolutely. And do they lead us to see the faults and the crack lines in our society which have been so carefully papered over? Yes, absolutely. And as a result, there has been a concerted effort to suppress this growth of freedom. But you know what? It's not going to work. That effort is failing. People are waking up all over the world. Not fast enough yet, not in large enough numbers, but it's happening. It's a small flame. It's growing, and it's going to continue to grow. And humanity will move forward in a positive course. I'm absolutely sure of that, and psychedelics have a great role to play in that journey.